Hi everybody, our lesson today is the passive voice. The passive voice is not a tense. You will find it easier to understand the passive if you already know the basic English verb tenses. The passive voice, let's start with the active. The active sentence starts or begin with the subject and then the verb and then the object. The subject الفاعل, verb, and the object المفعول به. In order to change it into passive, we begin with the object and the object becomes the subject. المفعول يصبح فاعل. And the verb, we change it into the past participle or the third verb تصريف الثالث, and it is preceded by be ويسبقه verb to be, and then the subject of the active sentence becomes the object and it comes at the end of the sentence and it is preceded by the word by. For example, my father planted this tree last year. When we change it when we change this active sentence into passive, it becomes this tree was planted by my father last year. Here, as you can see, this tree is the object, it becomes the subject, and then we used was because the sentence was in the past, and then we use the past participle of the verb planted, and then the subject changed into the object and preceded by the word by. Now let's begin with the present simple passive. The simple present tense in the active voice, as you can see, starts with the subject as we have just said, and then we have the verb, and the verb in the present simple tense usually ends with s or es, with the singular, or the main verb or the infinitive with the plural or with I. Then we have the object. As we have just said, the object or مفعول به becomes the subject, and the subject becomes the object, and it is preceded by the word by. And here in the present simple tense, verb to be becomes am, is, or are, depends on the new subject, and then we change the verb into the past participle تصريف الثالث. يحول الفعل التصريف الثالث ويسبق بام أو is or are، وهي verb to be في زمن الحاضر. Let's have an example here. He reads books every day. Here we have the subject he, and we have the verb in the present simple tense. Here we have s, and we have the object books. We start with the object books, and we use the word are because books are plural, and then we have the past participle of the word of the verb read. The past participle is read, the same spelling but different pronunciation, and then we have the choice whether to write by him or not. It's optional, and then we write every day, so it becomes books are read every day or books are read by him every day. Both are correct. The present simple passive. You can have passive verbs in all the different tenses. We will start with the present simple tense. Here is an active verb in the present simple. Everybody loves English weather. Now let's change it to the passive voice. English weather is, to make the passive, use the verb to be in the same tense as the original sentence. Here it is the present simple tense because the original, here as you can see, the original sentence is loves in the present, so is verb to be at the present. Then we have loved. To make the passive, use the third form or past participle of the main verb. And then by everybody, if you need to mention who is doing the action, use by to introduce it. Is loved is present simple passive because is the present simple. Present simple passive too. Take a look at some more sentences in the present simple passive. English teachers are loved by everybody. Verb to be here is plural because the subject is teachers. In this sentence to is plural in this sentence to agree with teachers. You don't have to agree with that statement you are thinking. Some people don't love English teachers, so let's make that passive. English teachers are not loved by everybody. Make the verb to be negative in the usual way. So here we have passive in the negative form. By everybody, by may not be necessary. It's not important. Leave it out. Past simple passive voice. The simple past tense. Active sentence. Subject, as you can see, start with the subject, الفاعل, and then verb. The second form of the verb. The second verb. تصريف الثاني للفعل. And then we have the object plus the object المفعول به. When we change it into passive, we start, as we have just said before, we start with the object and it becomes the subject of the passive sentence, and then we change the subject into the object and preceded by the word by. If we want to mention it, it's optional. And then we have the past participle of the main verb or the second verb. We change it into the past participle and preceded by was or were. Was for singular and were for the plural. For example, he gave Tom a book. Gave here, as you can see, he gave is the past simple tense. When we change it into passive, we say a book. Here we start with one of the objects. Here the sentence has two objects, a book and Tom. Now we'll start with a book. A book was given to Tom by him is optional. You can write it or not. You have the choice to mention it or not. We can also make the passive in another way. We can start with Tom. Tom was given a book by him. And both are correct because here we have two objects. We can begin with either of them, any object of them. Both are correct. The past simple passive. Here is a sentence in the past simple. Someone stole £1 million from the bank. Now let's change it to the passive voice. £1 million here is the object. We start it. Yeah, we start by the object. £1 million was to be in the past simple tense is was singular or were plural. Stolen to make the passive, we use the third form or past participle of the main verb. From the bank, by someone we don't need to write it because it doesn't tell as much who was it, so leave it out. Now let's do some exercises. Correct the verb between brackets. The homework written by Ali last night. Here, as you can see, the homework is the object. It's not the subject. The homework doesn't write itself. So the sentence is in the passive voice because here we start or we begin with the object. So we have to change this verb into the passive form. The homework written by Ali last night. And last night here it will be passive in the past simple. So we can correct it by writing was written. The homework was written by Ali last night, and we write was not were because homework is homework is singular. Number 2, the room cleaned by the maid every day. Here we have the room is the object, and هنا room مفعول به, and it comes at the beginning, so the sentence is supposed to be in the passive. من المفترض أن تكون الجملة في المبني المجهول. وصيغة المبني المجهول in the past or in the yeah, here it's not in the past, it's in the present. Yeah, because we have the word every day, so it's present simple tense, present simple passive. So the room, yeah, the room is, because the room, yeah, the room is singular, the room is cleaned. Yeah, the past participle of the verb clean, clean, yeah, cleaned. So the room is cleaned by the maid every day. Now change the following sentences into passive. Someone broke the window. Here, the first step is to start with, yeah, start with the window as the object. We say the window, and we write was because the window is singular, and then the past participle of the verb broken. The window was broken. Number two, the government builds many schools every day. So we begin with the object many schools are built every day. Are and the past participle of the verb built. So are built every day, and we don't need to say by the government. Thanks for listening. Until we meet again, I wish you the best of luck. Goodbye.